Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. Number 15 of my War Machine Horde Saga. This is a 50-point battle. It is I, Lord Tremendous of using Gunnbjorn, it's part of the Trollbloods, versus Legionnaires of Morghoul, which I believe is a Skorne-based army. In fact, I know that for sure. And he's using Big Game Hunters, which is a tier 4 list. I don't know a whole lot about tiers or anything like that, so I'm not going to use them. And to be perfectly honest, even when I do look into tiers and stuff like that, I don't want to play a pre-made army. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I know you have to take only certain models are legal, and they have certain, abilities and bonuses and stuff like that. And I get it, it's cool, but I like to play things my way. Is it over effective? No, but I like to play what I like to play, and so I'm gonna play it. And I think as gamers we can all respect that. And if not, well, it is what it is, I guess. But this is my second attempt, third attempt now, at a video battle report. I know most of you probably didn't look at the Star Wars X-Wing one, and that's perfectly fine. But those of you that did, this is another step forward, I hope. This should definitely be a step forward from number 14 of War Machine Hordes. So please, by all means, if you do bother to watch this one all the way to its conclusion, please let me know what you think. Yay, nay, or God, I hate you. Anything in between would be fine. Any kind of feedback I can get would be great, just so that I can continue to improve my tactics, my efforts, my reports. I'm out of big words. My vocabulary is spent. But this is also a very good game, so please sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Okay, this is something new. This is my opponent's army. I just took a quick recording of it while after he was set up and everything. I'm not going to read off what everything is, because to be perfectly honest, I recognize about 3 of the models. I know he's using Morghoul, and I know it's the Big Game Hunter Tier 4 list. Here's my army. These are my Creole warriors with banner and bagpipe guy installed. There's my stone. I've got my 3 trolls there with Gunnbjorn. I've got a slag troll with Morghoul, and that is actually Morghoul. And then I've got 3 sluggers. Those are actually sluggers. And then the Gatorman and everything, that is a unit of Fen Blades with the unit attachment. Alright, so we start off and my opponent goes first, and really for the most part, he's just running forward with everything. His heavy infantry run into the red control area, and it's just control area. Scenario is just get in there, control or dominate the areas, there's no objectives or anything like that. That unit on the left there, again, I don't know what they really do, but he runs into that circle because why not? I mean, it's the first turn, it's not like there's going to be a whole lot of combat. His beasts activate and they just kind of run forward for the most part, just kind of setting up that wall of meat, I guess. Honestly, not really 100% on what he's doing, but well, that's not because he's doing anything wrong, it's just because I'm very ignorant about Skorne and their tactics and stuff like that. Then I believe those are pain givers in the back there, and they run up to give a little pain, as you can see. And they do a little admonishment on the Sentinel, I believe that is. I've been wrong before, though. And then his big old battle group runs up. Or, I'm sorry, that's not battle group. That's 2 more war beasts of some sort. He puts Safeguard on Morghoul, and that's pretty much it. And then after just a handful of more little movements and stuff like that, as you can see, he removes the Fury off a few of his beasts, and we're good. That's the end of his turn. So here's the beginning of my turn 1, and right off the bat, I activate the Creole Warriors, give them the prayer of Swiftfoot, and they just run in there. I'm trying to clog his lanes a little bit and just make it so that he has more difficulties earning points than he should. And then I just immediately activate the Fen Blades, who just do the same thing as the Creole Warriors, and run in there to clog lanes and contest this section. That's it. Next up, I move Morghoul up, and he just drops a couple of Fury. And then I move up my sluggers. They do take a pot shot at one of the guys in the red circles, but they're way out of range. And that's really it. Then I move my slag troll. I rile him up first, and then I run him. And next up, well, no, just positioning, really. Alright, following all of that, I activate Gunnbjorn, and the first thing I do is I dump 4 Fury into the Creel Stone, because it needs it. And then after a little bit of debate, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on Dozer or if I wanted to put it on the Blitzer, I decided to put Snipe on the Blitzer, just because the Blitzer needs it more than Dozer. I see a target for Dozer. And then I just move Gunnbjorn into a better position, or in my opinion, a better position. And then I activate Dozer and Smig, and they come forward to shoot at one of those little unpainted guys over there. I figured he had it. I do have range, which is outstanding. However, at Rat 2, I need to boost a hit, which I do, and I'm looking for a 10, which I nail, no problem, and do 8 points of damage to that guy, which is just enough to gack him, which is outstanding. And then before ending Dozer and Smig's activation, I do rile him up for a couple of points because I'm running a little low. Gunnbjorn is currently naked. So after that, I activate my Blitzer, who comes up, and he takes a pot shot at one of the little skirmishing guys in the blue circle there, but he fails. And yes, you notice the table changes, well, the zoom changed a little bit. My camera died, so I had to fix that. So I activate my stones, and I do Protective Aura, and then they take a run afterwards to get into better position. And that is it, my friends. That is the end of my turn 1. Not super effective, but not terrible. So we go into my opponent's turn 2, and he upkeeps admonition or admonishment or whatever it is on his Sentinel, I think that is. Still not 100% on that. And then he charges with his Master Tormentor at my Creel Warriors, which I wasn't aware that was a solo. Not that that's his fault. I don't know enough about Skorne. And he does his Thresher attack, which lets him attack everything within his melee range. He needs a 5 to hit me, and nails it. And then it's dice -9, which he actually hits 9. He rolls 9 right there. But since he's got anatomical precision, he does a wound and kills the guy. He is not tough. Then he aims at the second guy that's in his Thresher range. He hits him, and I might make him roll. I roll for tough, and I fail, and he dies. Which I'm not thrilled about. I'm not thrilled about at all. I understand how it all happened. I'm just not happy about it because, you know, I don't like it when my guys die. And then the Tormentor sprints away because they kill the person in combat. Next up, the rest of those guys in the little blue circle, the sword guys, charge into my Creel Warriors. And needless to say, they all make it. They also have the anatomical precision and all that, so they line up. They also have something this thing where if they hit and wound you, they another one that hasn't moved yet could move within an inch of that model. He needs 5s to hit me. The first guy he hits is tough, so he doesn't die, which is awesome. The second one is a hit, and unfortunately he is not tough. He gets gacked. Next guy bobs and weaves and gets missed because he's a trooper. Gotta respect that. Next guy, not as much. He gets hit and dies a horrible death, which is a little sad. Don't like to see it. Next guy gets hit, and he is tough because he's a trooper, but he gets hit again, and he is so dead, which is kind of sad. I take a command check real fast and pass like a champion. Next up, his 2 units of heavy infantry in the red circle there start shooting at my Fen Blades. First one hits, no problem. I'm tough, but he drags me over there because he hit me, and then I'm knocked down, so it's an auto hit, and you're Weapon Masters. So basically, I'm just rolling tough checks, and I fail, so that guy buys it. Then he goes after the next guy, and he hits him no problem, but he's tough. Dude gets dragged over and gacked. 2 misses and an out of range later, this guy shoots and is in range. And he is able to hit. No problem. I am tough, though, because these Fen Blades do not want to die. Unfortunately, they don't want to die to range, and he gets gacked once he gets over there. Other than that, there was really nothing else. He was out of range with his last shot, and we moved to his next unit. Next up, his Bronzeback, and I believe his Sentinel. Well, his Bronzeback runs into the blue circle. I'm assuming it's just to contest the area. I do still have a couple of Creel Warriors in there, so it's not like he's going to score. And I think it's a Sentinel. I'm not 100%. It moves up. It runs as well. Obviously, he changed his mind a little bit about getting that close to Dozer and Smig, but that's where he ends up, so that's something. So he activates his Pain Givers, and he moves them up to where he's in range of the beasts, and he removes the Fury off of both of them. Probably just good Fury management. So next up, he activates Morghoul, casts Rush on the Gladiator, and then jogs up there. Then the Gladiator activates, and he just goes for a run, getting a Fury. And then whatever the big samurai guys are, they move up. The first one moves up, then the next one moves up, casts Safeguard on Morghoul. See, ding! And then, yeah, I think, again, that was just, for protection purposes, nothing more than that. And then for his last act of the turn, his other Pain Giver unit moves up, and that is it. That is the end of his turn. So they start off my turn by gobbling up the Fury off of my Trolls and putting them on their respective Warlocks, and then I drop Snipe because there's no reason to keep it right now. And during my maintenance phase, since my Fenblades lost a body or two, they got to do their Vengeance movement. Unfortunately, not a one of them was close enough to attack, but they got a little closer, which is nice. So trying to clear out some of those guys in the red circle, I decided to activate my Sluggers because I figure even though I gotta move them, they still get some shots. I need a 7, I hit the first guy, and it's dice -2. I end up doing about 3 damage to him, so that's not terrible. The next guy shoots at the guy next to him, but I miss. And the third guy shoots at the wounded guy, needing a 7, and I hit him. And this guy is right on point. He aims for the bloody part and is able to do 8 points of damage to him, killing him dead. So, not terrible, not terrible. It was actually a really good run, and it made that a little bit easier for my Fenblades. So, next up for my turn, I activate my Fenblades, and they charge the guys in the red circle. I do pop my little mini feat, thanks to my opponent reminding me of it, believe it or not. He's looking to be the next press ganger in the area, so yes, he's actually a very cool guy. I start swinging away at his guys. I need 6s. The first guy misses, the guy in the top middle there. Next guy goes after one of the guys in the circle, and I hit, which is awesome. It is dice -3, and due to some phenomenal rolling, I do 1 damage to this guy. Yeah, I rolled 3 dice. It's insane. Next guy swings at the same guy because they both charge the same guy. I'm able to hit with just 1 die because the other one was cocked, but the other one was a 6, so it worked out great. And then, once again, dice -3. This ends up doing like 10 damage, though, gacking that guy all day. Last but far from least, my Fenblade guy swings at the bottom, hits all day, which is very, very nice, and is able to do a tremendous 9 damage, gacking yet another guy, which is awesome. I'm really clearing that place out quite nicely, which is exactly what I'm going for. Next up, I activate Morghoul, because I love this guy. I throw Hot Shot onto my Slag because I'm planning on doing some damage with him, and then he moves over to the left just to get in a slightly better position, and that's it for him. So I go ahead and I move my Slag Troll over his 5 inches. Unfortunately, it was very, very poorly eyeballed on my part. I do take a pot shot at his Gladiator, thinking that he would be within range, and he's just outside. So I rile my Slag Troll up for 2 and end his turn. So next up, I activate Gunnbjorn, the man, the myth, the legend, and he moves up closer because I want to try to throw around his beasts with a shot. So I put Snipe on him because I'm super clever and I need the range. And then I throw one of my Fury onto the stone, and then I shoot at the Bronzeback. I boost my to hit because I'm trying to crit. I need a 5 to hit because he's defense low, and I hit, but it's not a crit, unfortunately. But I still hit him, so it's POW 14, and I decide, why not? I'll boost the damage, and I do. And I end up doing dice -7 for a total of 2 damage to Spiral 4. Not great, but hey, it's got to start somewhere. Next up, my Creel Warriors activate, and they pray for Fervor, +2 to hit and damage. And I need 7s to hit them because they're +2 to hit. And as long as I hit them, they're dead. So I hit the first guy and he just dies because their armor is really low compared to my PNS right now. I swing at the other guy and I hit him as well, and I get him. The 4 remaining guys that was there did what they could. They're not in base-to-base anything anymore, and while the unit doesn't need to take a command check yet, I'm working on that. So next up, my warders charge / run the little bastards in the blue circle of doom there. And once we get in there, I need 7s to hit. My first one hits, no problem. And then since they're weapon masters, yeah, they just die. Next one misses, which is unfortunate. And the third one that could attack hits and kills the guy, which is actually outstanding. So next I activate my blitzer and I move him up so that he's towed into the blue zone. And then he fires at the sentinel. I only get one shot though. Does he get D3 shots with the blitzer? I only get one though. I boost a hit because even though I only need a 4, I'm not feeling lucky. I do hit. Of course, I boost the damage. So with his POW to dude's armor, it's dice -8. And I roll an 8. No damage whatsoever. Next up, I activate Dozer and Smig. I move him over in front of Gunnbjorn to block line of sight. And then I cast Bank Shot on him, and I fire away at his Gladiator. I believe I need a 8 to hit. The hope is to miss, and I hit. I was hoping to deviate into the stealth guy or the big group of pain givers in the back there, but unfortunately, well, unfortunately, I hit. So that's not terrible. It's dice -5, so I should be able to do a little bit of damage, and I do. I do 7 damage to Spiral 3, which was not the exact goal, but not terrible. I'm not exactly upset. And then for my final activation of my turn, I go ahead and activate the Creelstone Bears. I activate Protective Aura, and then he walks over to get better in the middle. The rest of the guys just kind of shift around, running around and stuff like that, and that's it. That is the end of my turn. So we go into my opponent's turn 3, and during his upkeep, Admonishment is not upkept, and he just gobbles up some of the fury to put on Morghoul or whatever. And yeah, that's it for his maintenance phase for the most part. After all that, he activates his little samurai-looking war beast, moves up to within his reach range of my proxy Fenblade, hits, boosts the damages so he can't fail, and gacks him. He is not tough. So that sucked. It kind of freed up guys I didn't want freed up yet. Next up, he activates the heavy infantry, the unpainted unit. There's actually 2 units, the painted and unpainted. Well, the base painted and unpainted. And attacks some more of my proxied Fenblades. The first guy hits no problem, but since he charged and everything like that, didn't matter. I was tough. He attacks another guy. He hits him, but he kills him, no problem. He is not tough. Which really wasn't terrible. It was the leader, so a guy got field promoted, and that was it. But the Fenblades are still holding strong, and that's what's important. So next up, my opponent activates the base painted unit and attacks. He misses with his first shot. His second guy is able to hit no problem. He wounds, and I roll my tough check and nail it. That guy is on his ass, but tough as nails, which is good, because I'm still disputing the circle. So next up, his Pain Givers activate, and they just advance into the red circle. They have reach, so they're going for my Fenblades. He wants to clear that zone pretty bad. The first guy swings away, just barely in range as you saw, needs a 7, but he misses. The next guy attacks the guy that's knocked down, auto hits, and he is not tough. Although dude's been tough this whole time, so I got no complaints. He did really well. Now I'm down to my officer and my drummer in the circle. I'm still contesting the range, but I'm running out of Fenblades quick. Next up for the bad guy, he activates Morghoul, does maltreatment to remove a fury, and then he casts Rush on his Gladiator as well as Abuse, making him into a Gladiator missile. Next, Morghoul checks his control area and then moves up, and he's pretty pleased with that placement. And then shortly after that, I honestly don't know what that little token is, but then he measures his control area once again and pops his feet, which does not bode well for the home team, but we'll see what happens. It's still early. Next up, he activates his other unit of Pain Givers, or Pain Medusers, or whatever the hell they are. Moves one up behind Samurai Joe there, and the other ones move up to get closer to the beasts. He then casts Enrage on the Gladiator, and then he casts Safeguard on Morghoul, which basically makes so I can't knock the guy down. Not that I think I was going to be able to do that next turn, but he's doing it. So now that he's got his gladiator all riled up and ready for blood, he charges the slag troll, which the blood's a little tainted, but I still think he'll do the trick. I believe he needs like a 6 to hit, and it's all boosted and everything like that. He hits no problem. He gets corroded because his first hit does not hit him, or doesn't kill him, I mean. But it does do significant damage. He ends up doing 14 points of damage to Spiral 4 with the first hit. The second one hits, and he does 11 damage to Spiral 6. He's only a light war beast. That is more than enough to gack him, and he dies. I do remember to reave my fury off of him, but poor Morghoul is flying solo now, and it's sad. Well done by my opponent, though. Next up, he activates his Sentinel, moves him up just a little bit, not a ton, and casts his Animus Locker on him, which basically means if you're within 5 inches of him when you start your activation, you gotta go towards him, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do that at all. For his next trick, he activates his Master Tormentor. She runs up into the middle there and does her Thresher attack. She is able to kill off my one of my Stone Scribe Grunts or whatever, and she does 1 point to each of the warders that she could hit, and that's it because she wasn't able to get past their armor, and that's it for her activation. Next up, he moves the bronze back over just a little bit, still staying in the zone, and riles him up for 2. That's it. Next up, the opponent, or my opponent anyway, moves up whatever those things are in the blue circle. There's only like 2 left, and he attacks my warders a little bit. He's not able to get past their armor, although he's able to hit them no problem. He does it a little out of sequence due to just mistake, that's all. The guy moves up, he attacks, he only does 1 point of damage, and then the other guy attacks, he hits, he only does 1 point of damage, but then Shadow Steps or whatever their little special rule is, and moves over to be next to the guys. Not a huge big deal, but none of my guys die, and he just basically just switches around where everything's sitting. Alright, so it's my turn 3 now, which is super exciting. I gobble the Fury off of my War Beast that Gunnbjorn's battle group is a part of. Morghoul has no beast left because his Slag Troll got destroyed, and I upkeep Snipe. So all in all, that was really all I could do. I do have Vengeance with the Officer. He moves up slightly and does nothing else. It's a little sad. So next up, I activate my remaining Creel Warriors, give them Fervor, and they just kind of move into position. Nobody charges or anything like that, just advances. The one guy in the back, the last guy I moved, he did have to run, but he doesn't attack, so we're all good. First guy needs a 7, hits like a boss. And just auto gacks, because at POW 12 I can do 14, which goes well past their armor. Second guy attacks, hits all day and all night, gacks the final one, clearing all those little infantry guys out of the blue circle. It's still contested, but it's a start. Next up in my grand strategy, I activate my warders. Unfortunately, I move him to try to take out his Master Tormentor, but I forgot that his bronze back has counter charge, and I get within 6 inches, and he counter charges my poor warder, and he gets there. No problem at all. He moves a little placeholder there. Yeah, so you can see it now, because we've been moving our models by mistake and stuff like that. And then he proceeds to pound his skull in. He only needs a 5 to hit, which he does no problem. And then I believe it is dice -4 because I'm currently at 21 thanks to the stone. And he ends up doing 1 damage to my warder. So it really wasn't that bad. Next up, my warders attack his Master Tormentor. I hit him no problem. And it's dice -1 because, you know, with Weapon Master and everything with their PNS 12, it's nice. And I end up doing exactly enough to kill it. Damage of 6. Gacking the Master Tormentor, which is huge. Next, my warder, the only other one that can attack, attacks the bronze back, and he hits no problem. It's dice -7, so it's not going to be great. I am doing 1 damage to Spiral 1. Not great, but I killed the Master Tormentor, and that's really what I was hoping to do. And I got a little... I traded the wound back to the bronze back, which it's a pride thing, and I'll take it. So now I activate Gunnbjorn, and you know what? I just see too sweet of a shot to not take the opportunity. So I'm debating, and I'm like, oh, to hell with it. I decide to fire away at Morghoul because he's out in the open. I know he's going to transfer it, but I can do a lot of damage. So I put up guided fire, and I take aim at Morghoul. I have snipe up, so my range is 16. I know I got him. I need an 11 to hit him, but I roll an 11. It wasn't doubles, but it's not like I could knock the guy down or anyway, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, it's dice +1 for damage, which is super exciting. I boosted damage, and I end up rolling a beautiful 13 damage on the Morghoul. Of course, he transfers it over to his Sentry, was totally expected, but that's great. I just did 13 points of damage to a heavy war beast with my Warlock. God, I love playing Gunnbjorn. So I activate my Blitzer, and I gotta be honest, now Morghoul's feet's up, so I know I can't boost anything, but I get 3 shots at this guy. I figure I'd go for it. I only get 1 shot at him, though, which really kind of pisses me off. I need a 12 to hit, so I don't expect him to hit, but I do, lo and behold. It's straight dice for damage, which is super good. I fully expect him to transfer it. And I end up doing 7 damage to him, which he actually puts on Morghoul. He does not transfer. So Morghoul is now bleeding, and I'm thinking that just maybe I could get this assassination mission off. So now I try to get a little clever. I charge Dozer and Smig into his Sentinel, thinking that I might be able to hurt him. My first attack, I need an 8. I miss because I don't really care. I can't boost or anything because of defeat. Both my attacks end up missing against the Sentinel, but now I try my ranged attack against Morghoul because I have Arcing Fire, and the way we thought it worked was you ignore it, but I end up missing him anyway. It deviates, I think it's like 1 inch to direction 3, and while that's not a huge big deal, I do still end up hitting Morghoul. I do a decent amount of damage, but we thought with Arcing Fire I could hit him. It's been brought to my attention, maybe not, but in this game I ended up doing 6 damage that he transferred over to one of the Samurai Warbeasts that he has with him. So that was still cool. I did a bunch of damage to his Warbeast. But yeah, we thought with Arcing Fire and everything like that, that I could shoot him because it says you ignore all other models within, except for ones within 1 inch of the target. Morghoul was not within 1 inch. So that's why we did it that way. If it was wrong, let us know in the comment section. If it was right, let us know in the comment section, because right now that's kind of up in the air. We're having trouble finding validation one way or the other. So now that Morghoul has no fury left on him, I try to move my sluggers into range to finish him off. I know I need like boxcars to hit him and everything like that, but it was just hope. The one guy that aimed completely was out of range. The other 2 needing boxcars to hit completely miss. Not a surprise, but it was a shame. And assassination attempt failed. What can I say? My assassination attempts usually do fail on the first shot. So I'm not out of this yet, though. It's still been a pretty good turn. So next in my bag of tricks, I pull Morghoul out and I have him charge the Warbeast responsible for the Slag's death. I need 6 to hit him. I go with the hammer first because I'm trying to knock him down. I do hit him. I do not crit. It's dice -7 for damage, and I end up doing 6 damage to Spiral 1. The second attack, I boost a hit because I'm a little worried about my dice rolling. I end up hitting no problem, which is nice. I do end up critting with this roll, of course, but of course it doesn't matter. I do set his butt on fire, which is very nice. And I end up boosting damage, because why not? It's not like he's going to get Fury back anytime soon. He's on borrowed time. It's dice -8, and boom! I end up doing 3 damage to Spiral 3. I buy 1 more attack with the hammer, hoping for the best, and I roll Snake Eyes for an epic miss. It was a crit, but unfortunately, not the way I wanted it. So all in all, Morghoul did pretty good against the Heavy Warbeast. So now I activate my Fen Blades. I forget that the drummer doesn't have an attack, so oh well. I need a 6 to hit with my officer who does have an attack. I do end up hitting, which is outstanding, and I end up doing 5 damage to the guy. Not enough to kill him, but enough to make sure that he goes to the hospital after this game, and that's what's important, the moral victories. So next I activate my Stone Bears, with just, I kind of block Gunnbjorn with him so he can't be killed real easy. I move the Stone Bearer himself up into that gaggle in the blue circle and pop a Fury so that Protective Aura goes off, and that pretty much ends my turn 3. So to begin his turn, he rolls for Corrosion, and it sticks on there and does like a point of damage to Spiral 6 or something like that. It doesn't really matter. And then he rolls for Fire, but it goes out, and it's sad. So after my opponent's done moving the 3 Fury he was able to get from the War Beast this game, because he spent some to save Morghoul's life last turn, he moves his Pain Givers into the red circle, throws the 3 guys that can attack into the Fenblade Officer, and fails to hit him 3 times. It was actually kind of spectacular. So my opponent activates his little shooty guys, and the unpainted ones in the red circle, and they shoot at my gunner guys that are in the circle contesting it, and he's able to do a buttload of damage and kill a guy no problem. The next guy's hits the guy in combat, the last Fenblade or whatnot, and kill him no problem as well, Weapon Master and all. These guys move because I don't have a weapon on that guy, he's a proxy drummer. But that guy is now in combat, which my opponent didn't realize, so we shot at him, needed an 8, and he got it, so he hit. And then he was able to do enough damage to kill him, no problem. It was an amazing shot, actually, which also forced the panic on the rest of the gunners, which really sucks. So next, my opponent activates his Pain Givers and just kind of shimmies them around a little bit. After he's done moving them all around, he enrages the forward samurai, and since he was transferring damage to the other one, he used the guy to heal 2 points off of him from the transfer damage. Next up, one of his little samurai guys charged Morghoul and gets in range because he's got reach, and swings away. What else is he going to do? He only needs a 6 to hit me, and he has absolutely no trouble rolling that hit. And then it's just straight dice, and he does 10 damage. Morghoul is only got about 8 boxes, so I roll my tough check for him, and he fails miserably. Poor Morghoul follows his slag troll into the sweet, sweet abyss. Next up, he moves Morghoul over into the red circle of doom there in order to dominate it, I believe. And shortly after that, he enrages the Sentinel, and that was pretty much it there. He activates his other samurai-looking guy, moves him over near Morghoul, and uses the Animus Safeguard on him, so I can't knock him down, which is a shame. I'd like to see him on his ass. Alright, next up, he activates his Sentinel, and he starts wailing away at Dozer and Smig. First attack with the Halberd misses, which is nice. Next attack, the shield, it hits all day. It is dice -4, and he does like 2 damage to Spiral 1. Not a terrible amount of damage, but you know, anything is bad. Next attack with his tusks hits, it's dice -2, and I think he's able to do 5 damage to Spiral 3. Then he buys an attack, and it ends up hitting and doing 9 damage to Spiral 2. He buys another one, these are all with the Halberd. And does 5 damage to Spiral 4, and the last attack he's able to buy misses completely, which is whew. Dozer and Smig are still beat up, but they're still in this fight. So next up, he activates his Bronze back and attacks my Warder, knocking him right in the mouth, but luckily, I think it's like dice -2, and he rolls like Snake Eyes, so he does no damage, which is, the dice gods actually smiled on me for a change. His second attack, however, is able to hit and do 5 damage, which, since this guy was injured already, was enough to force a tough check, which he fails and dies. But that's okay, the Warders really pulled their weight this game. And my opponent's final move for this one is he attempts to charge my final Fenblade in the red circle, but he forgot that he didn't do the movement buff at the last minute and failed the charge. So that's it. That's it for his turn, I think 4, 3, whatever turn this is. So I start off my maintenance phase by upkeeping Snipe, and since I didn't do great on my Fury management, I had to cut Gunny for 2. Next up, I activate my Warders, and they go charging into the Bronze back, because I want to clear the zone, and I also want to be able to move my Blitzer so that he can shoot at Morghoul. I know he's got Shield Guard over there, so I need to bust that. I need 5s to hit. My first guy hits. This is the guy that did not get the charge bonus. He's dice -7, and you know, I'm really hoping to clear this guy out, but I'm kind of rolling like poop. I end up doing 3 damage to Spiral 2 with the first shot. So I'm hoping with 3 more guys I can roll a little bit better. I hit with the next guy, still dice -7, but there's 4 dice. and I'm only able to do 4 damage to Spiral 5. I'm rolling like dog poo, which is not good. The next guy hits and does 5 damage to Spiral 5, and the last guy hits and finally rolls well and does 13 damage to Spiral 3. Not enough to kill the guy, but I do have another plan. So now that my warders have failed to bring down the bronze back, I have to commit the blitzer. I wanted to shoot at Morghoul, but I need to kill the blitzer. So I hit with my first attack, I boosted the hit, I'm boosting damage, dice -4. First roll, I'm able to do a solid amount of damage, 7 damage to Spiral 4, which ends up killing him, which is good and all, but I wanted to shoot at Morghoul, and I ended up short. So it's like, So I'm still going for the assassination, but I've got one more idea, and then I'm just going to be grabbing at straws. Next, just to get him out of the way, I move my Slugger, his max run, and then I roll his command to see if he stays, and I roll, like, boxcars, so he's still spooked for another turn. Next up, I move my stone guys, the ones that are left, just in the way, blocking lanes in case my plan fails. So I activate Gunnbjorn, and the plan here is to shoot down that nice little alley right at Morghoul and hopefully blow him up. Or actually, the hope was to pull Shield Guard out. I boost my hit because maybe I'll catch something in the blast and be able to knock it away, not Morghoul. But I miss. I miss rather spectacularly, actually. I roll pretty low. It ends up deviating, and it deviates to the it deviates 5 inches to the 2, which puts it over near his pain givers, which at this point of the game isn't a huge big deal, but due to deviation and everything, I only end up hitting one guy. Thanks to it not being boosted or anything, I'm able to do just enough to kill the guy. And while it wasn't my target, I'm glad I killed something. So this is it. This is my last chance at victory. So I activate Dozer, and he does a double-handed throw on the Sentinel. I hit, thank God. I win the strength check, my 2d6 to his 1d6. I think it was like 18 to 16. And I am able to boost the throw roll because I aim at Morghoul. I need an 11 to hit him, and I'm really nervous. And I hit. I rolled it, and I nailed him. I end up doing 8 damage to Morghoul, but he just, you know, has got 1 Fury on him, so he transfers into one of the Samurai guys. Not a big deal. And then Dozer buys a ranged attack because with Virtuoso he can do that. I had the Fury, so I buy one. And I miss. Luckily, the deviation was such that I clip Morghoul still, even after the fact. So that was huge. So it's a boosted 7, and I roll out of the box. I do 8 damage to Morghoul, which is enough to kill him, winning me the game. Outstanding. So yes, in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. About friggin' time, huh? I was able to actually assassinate a guy's warlock. Morghoul got killed. Oh, God. It felt good. It felt incredibly good, I'm not gonna lie. I ended up losing my Slag Troll and Horgel. I don't think anything else was dead. I had 1 Fenblade left in the red circle at the bottom. My Slugger was fleeing. He was still fleeing, but he hadn't ran off the table, so I don't think that counts as dead in this game. And I don't think anything. I still had some warders. I still had some warriors. My Blitzer and Dozer were still alive. I don't think I lost anything else. But if I'm mistaken, then call me out in the comment section. I would actually respect that. My opponent ended up losing his bronze back, his master torture, and those little skirmishing chicks. I can't remember what they're called. I don't think I ever knew. I think that's it. Kind of a lot was going on, and it was hard for me to wrap my head around. In one point in this video, you do see me taking some Advil. So, needless to say, my brain was firing a little bit more often than I was used to. But this was just an outstanding game. The Fenblades really took a beating, but stayed tough long enough to deny any points in the red circle. Warders and warriors stood strong in the blue circle on the top, and even managed to severely beat down the bronze backs after taking down those skirmishing chicks or whatever with crazy reach and the shadow movements and stuff like that. I was very impressed with them. Dozer, Gunnbjorn, and the Blitzer are an amazing team, gave great cover fire, and ended up winning me the day in the end. After a failed assassination attempt, I admit, almost 2 failures, I got incredibly lucky with that last shot. Nothing I was doing seemed to really connect. Dude had an incredibly high defense. But I got lucky in the end, and the deviation was just enough to clip him, and that was it. I rolled high with the last roll. He was out of fury, and I dropped the bad guy, and it felt good. Poor Morghoul and his slag troll. I really like Morghoul, and I really like slag trolls. And it was just unfortunate that they got fed to a couple of big-ass war beasts. But you know, this game is all about sacrifice and stuff like that. And I think deep down, somewhere in the 3rd level of hell, Morghoul respects my decision. The slag troll is probably pissed off, but I think Morghoul understands. That gladiator Skorne rocket thing that my opponent did, where he just kind of amped him up on all sorts of, you know, meth and then sent him after my slag troll, was absolutely terrifying. Gotta be honest, wish I had gotten something else in his way so that he couldn't take out my slag troll, but I guess if I had to sacrifice something, a 5-point troll is better than, you know, like my warlock or something. Those elite shooty Skorne guys in the red circle, the 2 units of them that my opponent had, way dangerous. They shoot you, they drag you in if they don't just flat out kill you, and then they're weapon masters. So, oh, you're 8 inches away? Pow! Come here! Weapon master attack, go! I really wish that the trolls had something like that. That would be really cool. Little harpoon guns on your weapon masters. That would be great. I also way underestimated them, so won't be doing that again. Speaking of the Weapon Master trait, I love it. The idea of your normal attacks rolling 3 dice and your charge attacks rolling 4, that's really cool. And the Trollbloods have a lot of access to Weapon Master, so I think I might try to gear my list more toward Weapon Master troops. I really like that. Just, it feels powerful, you know? Throwing that many dice at something, it's like, woo! My opponent actually suggested something like that. I can't remember what he called it. Like the meat grinder? I don't remember, honestly. But it was kind of cool. The idea of just having most, if not all, of your troops that aren't beasts and warlocks with Weapon Master trait. The trolls could potentially do that. It would be a very small list, but not an ineffective one. In somebody else's hands, probably not mine. But all in all, this was an absolutely fantastic game. I had a great opponent. The dude was a real trooper, cool throughout the whole game, no matter which way it went, giving me advice, helping me out, real good guy. He's a hopeful press ganger, and I hope that he gets the job. He deserves it. And honestly, anytime he wants a rematch, I'm ready. Terrific game. But that's going to do it for this battle report. This is my 2nd video battle report, so please give me feedback. Let me know if you liked it, disliked it, and why. Or, you know, just shoot horrible, mean things at me. That's perfectly acceptable, too. It is a free internet, I guess. And please leave any comments, questions, concerns, or complaints in the comment section below, and I will return the favor as quick as I can. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'm exhausted. Thanks.